Thanks for joining us on National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector. Coming up, the National MSME Policy Consultations conclude. 27 have joined the Fire and Ambulance Services Department, and CXC meets with employers and the public sector. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
Think water. Think life. Water refreshes, restores, cleans, and enhances growth. Potable water is a benchmark for development. The Wasco is serious about its mandate to ensure easy access to potable water island-wide and provide sewage services for a cleaner environment. The Wasco is your water and sewage company.
Thanks for staying with us. The largest contingent to have completed training for the Dominica Fire and Ambulance Service has graduated. On Wednesday, June 6th, 27 new fire officers joined the ranks of one of the most elite service organizations in Dominica. The recruits were officially recognized as fire officers with certificates at a graduation ceremony at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. Chief Fire Officer Josiah Dupuy addressed the ceremony.
I yet stand in the beautiful golden rays beckoning the dawn of a new day in the history of the Dominica Fire and Ambulance Services Division, where men and women will continue to work side by side, utilizing the special skills that they would have learned, particularly in the last 4 months, to protect lives, to save lives, to protect property, to render special and humanitarian services to our neighbors.
He was also elated by new developments which have taken place within the fire service, to include the procurement of new ambulances to increase efficiency, 35 fire officers benefiting from an aviation training earlier this year, and numerous persons being formally appointed to posts within the fire service. Chief Dupuy believes that the number of successful recruits is a milestone for the fire and ambulance service. He reminded the new officers of the level of responsibility which they now hold.
My delight, is based on my faith that tomorrow will be a better day in the Fire and Ambulance Services Division. Class of 2016, at orientation, I gave you an acronym, LYBC. I'm not going to say what that means, but it will make for good conversation after this ceremony. At graduation, I will offer you one more, FLOSAC. And this means for love of service and country. FLOSAC. Every time you are assigned to do a particular task, every time there is an occasion for you to use the skills that you would have acquired over the last 4 months, I say to you, remember FLOSAC. A high percentage of young boys and girls are still indicating their strong desire to be fire officers. And I have often wondered why. It's a very simple response, really. They want to be like you. They want people to look up to them for the service they do for humanity. They want people to they want to make a difference in the lives of others. Ours is not only a noble career choice, but one with tremendous responsibilities. We are among response agencies that are always the first to be on the scene. In many instances, our actions can result in life and death, that of those we are entrusted to save, that of our colleagues, and that of ours.
He had this message to the new officers.
I want this afternoon to charge you, therefore, to carry this torch that has been lit for centuries. I want you to carry this torch with pride and passion, as you heard in the voice of retired Station Officer Jones Lawrence last Wednesday. One fire officer can make a difference. 27 officers, properly trained and committed and driven, can impact on everything we do and everything we are to make us better fire officers. I am confident of that. Your passion must always be for improvement of self, improvement of your shift, improvement of your station, improvement of your service, most importantly, improvement of our beloved country.
The Fire and Ambulance Service recruit training commenced at the Marigot Youth Center on March 1st and lasted 4 months. Recruits were taught basic firefighting skills, fire science, hydraulics, hazardous material awareness, incident management systems, emergency medical response, ambulance operation, search and rescue, and ladder drills, to name a few. The Honorable Minister for National Security, Rayburn Blackmore, congratulated the new recruits and the female officers in particular.
I want to say to you, the other 26 of you, that you have made a decisive decision to be part of one of the most important departments of the state. You have also decided to serve your country. And I expect of you to do that well, with the highest degree of commitment and diligence. And what I've seen thus far, the mere fact that you look so sharp and eager to go out there to serve, I can expect nothing less from you. I want to commend you and congratulate you for such an important milestone in your life, though still very young. From what I've seen, you have been through a process of training that has provided you with the skills and proficiencies to be good officers. I said officers because no longer we're living in an era where we had a fire department that was male ordered. We now have excellent female officers, and I've been told that they were begging the men to stay on, while some of the men wanting to leave. It was the women saying to them, "Don't go, please stay." Can you imagine that? It demonstrates, therefore, that women are equally as efficient as men in a number of areas. And I want to commend the women and commend you, the men, for listening to the women to stay.
The Honorable Minister encouraged the new officers to portray the true characteristics of fire officers.
This profession you have chosen is the one that calls for passion and commitment. And if those fundamental virtues are not with you, then you're simply going to be working for a paycheck. And that is not good enough. For those of you who are still doubtful as to whether you have what it takes to be an accomplished fire officer, you still have time to fall out on the parade. But by virtue of the fact that you're still standing here, I'm convinced that you have what it takes. And I wish you well.
The new officers are Arlington Pear, Bertley John, Kellyta Grant, Lester Matthew, Jamal Lloyd, Jeffrey St. Rose, Nathan Prosper, McKeon Roberts, Wanda Seraphine, George Andre Jr., Jasmine Moise, Cornell Joseph, Trevor Prince, Nigel Williams, Kina Prevost, Jovan Bonney, Edson Burnett, Rajid St. Rose, Courtney Joseph, Kimani Roll, Cornell Charles, Carey Prosper, Deron Charles, Patrickson Prince, Nathaniel Fontaine, Mayon Gregoire, and Osbert Hector.
Promise to honor my God, my country, the Dominica Cadet Corps, and to do my best to serve them loyally and honorably at all times, to be faithful to my obligations as a member of that corps to the best of my ability through the contingent of the Dominica Cadet Corps, to which I now belong. I further promise to conform to the rules, regulations, and discipline of the Corps, to keep my body and mind healthy and alert, and to be a good citizen of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Cadets, you are now an enrolled cadet. We proudly give you this badge, which will serve as a perpetual reminder of the traditions of the Dominica Cadet Corps and of the corps to which badge. I welcome you to this contingent.
16 students of the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School are now enrolled in the Dominica Cadet Corps. The enrollment ceremony took place on Wednesday, July 6th, and was attended by the Commandant of the Dominica Cadet Corps, Colonel David Andrew, Unit Commander Lieutenant Leonard Henderson, Senator the Honorable Felix Thomas, Principal of the ITSS, Shirley Samuel, other Cadet Corps members, parents and staff of the ITSS. Commandant Colonel Andrew congratulated the new recruits on their choice. He regards the Corps as a program second to none in the world.
Today's activity is a clear manifestation of their commitment, patience, and hard work. Let me thank wholeheartedly everyone who has assisted them in one way or another. It is indeed a challenge to deliver the cadet program around the island with limited financial resources and personnel that are available. However, with the continued support of the principal and staff, parents, cadets, and the entire nation, we have persevered and we are succeeding. As the negative forces of society continue relentlessly to claw at our young people, we, the volunteers of the Dominica Cadet Corps, are resolved to forge ahead with this positive initiative.
The Dominica Commandant encouraged the cadets to be proud of their choice and to ignore distractions.
Open your eyes wide and look at the world around you and choose carefully the path you wish to walk. Listen carefully and decide which voices should influence you. Ultimately, give yourself a chance to become a well-rounded, decent, loyal, and productive citizens.
Meanwhile, Unit Commander Lieutenant Leonard Henderson calls on parents to continue supporting their children as members of the Corps.
The cadets are doing this year, and they will be doing much more. The school has been doing what it is doing, and much more than most schools have done. I am doing my share also. I would really call upon you to put yourself forward so that we could have a strong parents' body, so that between the school, yourself and myself, we could help mold our children. I can tell you that those cadets, they are the ones who actually caused this thing to be here today, what they call the enrollment ceremony.
Principal of the ITSS, Shirley Samuel, thanked parents for making the sacrifice and providing their children with the necessities for the Corps. She told the cadets to be examples in and out of school.
Recruits, you are expected to obey and follow all cadet rules, and thus be the leading students in fitness, discipline, and loyalty at the school and the society. It is hoped that your enrollment today will be the beginning of a strong foundation for the development and sustainability of the unit here at Isaiah Thomas. You are expected to let your light shine in your various communities so that others may see and emulate your good works, thereby encouraging them to become members of the cadet unit themselves. I extend my best wishes to you, and I congratulate you today on such an occasion.
The Dominica Cadet Corps was launched in 1910 at the Dominica Grammar School and moved on to the St. Mary's Academy, followed by other educational institutions. You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
In the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app, available for download from the Google Play Store, One Mobile Market, and the Government of Dominica's website. Access to all ministries and sub-departments' phone, email and office addresses and websites. Simply select a ministry and the sub-department. You can dial directly from the app or save the numbers to your phone contacts. It's convenience at your fingertips.
Is my passport ready for pickup? Good. It really works.
Download the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app today.
Welcome back. The Caribbean Examination Council, in collaboration with the local registrar, held a one-day stakeholder consultation at the Public Service Union building with employers and the public sector on Wednesday. The aim of the consultation was to provide an overview of the programs offered by CXC.
CSEC, we all know CSEC, but I just want to make it clear that CSEC and the forerunners to CSEC, like O-level and so on, were not qualifications that were designed for work. They were always qualifications that they were designed for entry into university. Okay? So the first exams that were done by Cambridge some 400 years or so, 300 years or so ago, were not designed for persons wanting to go to university, and they had to find a way of working out whether they have the competencies to come to university. So each university used to have its own exam. So you take your exam, and if you do well, they would then take you into the university. So that is the origin of these O-levels from Cambridge and London and so on, to countries then developing their own qualifications, which will be on par, and hence the students don't have to take all of these different exams in order to get into university.
Also discussed was the Caribbean Vocational Qualification Program, or CVQ.
The CVQ, which is the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, which is a product of CANTO, the Caribbean Association of National Training Agencies, and we are part of CANTO, so we have permission to offer the qualification in schools, is a work-related qualification. It is matched very closely to what is required in the workplace. All right? So for CVQ, the curriculum is designed, sorry, not the curriculum, the competencies are developed by the lead persons. So if you are a horticulturalist, you would be invited to explain what are the things needed by a horticulturalist, by a person who is coming to work with you. What are the competencies that they need? What must they be able to do every day to be a successful horticulturalist? Once you say those are then written in units and developed into a CVQ.
This year, for the first time, Dominica will be sending students to be qualified in commercial food preparation, garment manufacturing, and crop production. Cumberbatch noted that new subjects have been introduced for the Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, or CAPE. The examinations are normally written by candidates who have completed 1 or 2 years of post-secondary level education.
These subjects were introduced since a number of the students who do CAPE don't necessarily go on to university and go into work. We have tried to develop programs that would help them to go into work, not only as employees, but to create their own employment, right? So things like entrepreneurship has been introduced, where they can go in and develop their own business, and the entrepreneurship is based on the development of ideas. At the end of the process, they have to come up with some ideas, and if they come up with some useful ideas, they can patent these ideas, copyright these ideas, and they go through that process of how to do it. Or if they want to, they can take the idea through to production stage, if they want to do that. Remember, being an entrepreneur is not necessarily being a business manager. And there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a manager, because sometimes I see people ask questions, why is CXC offering entrepreneurship when they have management of business? They're two different things altogether.
The final in a series of consultations to discuss the development of a policy to guide micro, small and medium-sized enterprises took place on Wednesday. The first 4 discussions engaged stakeholders in different parts of the island throughout the month of June. Wednesday's summary event began with the presentation of findings based on surveys conducted at previous consultations. Surveys revealed that entrepreneurs are being found to use their personal savings to launch their businesses rather than government aid or loans. It was also found that entrepreneurs aged 30 and younger had additional forms of employment. Few business owners reached tertiary level education, and most enterprises employed basic bookkeeping and were interested in learning more to improve their record keeping. It was also found that a large number of organizations unfortunately did not reinvest profits into their businesses. Business owners listed the business's strengths in their varieties of goods and services, the rates of returning customers, and their ideal business locations. Although most expressed a desire to expand and diversify their enterprises, finance and high overheads ranked highest among their challenges. A customer frequency survey revealed that a large number of small businesses pride themselves on good customer service and their ability to meet their customers' needs. Before the cross-section of stakeholders began their discourse on Wednesday, consultant leading the policy development, Milton Lawrence, reminded them of the expected outcomes of the draft policy. The finished policy should guide the definition of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, identify legislative constraints, and prioritize policy initiatives to address the challenges to the development of MSMEs. Here's a clip of the context of the discussion.
The business environment is a big thing now in the MSME debate. It's also a big thing for the World Bank. You know, the World Bank has this thing called Doing Business, Ease of Doing Business Index. And it's something that has been embraced by virtually the entire world. Until recently, where people have begun to argue that the Ease of Doing Business Index is actually not as appropriate as it should be, and there's some arguments about using different tools. But the point is that business environment is one of the critical areas being looked at right now. Entrepreneurship and human resource development, it's inevitable that we have to talk about this. Market development, export promotion, trade facilitation. At the end of the day, all of our efforts are supposed to lead to businesses being able to sell their products and services.
The Aid Bank, the Customs Division, the Dominica Youth Business Trust, the Dominica Coalition of Service Industries, the Dominica Herbal Business Association, the Dominica Air and Seaport Authority, the Cooperatives Division, the Dominica Bureau of Standards, the Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, and the Inland Revenue Division were among players. GIS News spoke with the Honorable Minister for Commerce, Enterprise and Small Business Development, Rosalind Paul.
A policy document is a policy document, but to give life to it, you would need people's input, not only just to the document, but to ensure that it's implemented, to give the life to the document, to the policy afterwards. Business or enterprises go across sectors, agriculture, tourism, services, so almost every private sector person is also a stakeholder in this. And so it's a very critical document that we're working on that would guide the process of business development, commerce in Dominica.
Coming up next, your Creole highlights with McPherson St. Luce.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, le gouvernement Dominique signe un contrat pour travail réhabilitation chemin habitant Belz. Contrat ça qui est pour plus que 200 avec $50,000. Venu bien nécessaire selon Erika qui était affecté chemin ça là. Membre parlement pour constituency Saint Joseph, Honorable Kelvin Daru, présenté l'argent là pour contracteur là pendant une cérémonie en l'office li McPherson.
Ça nous t'ai fait c'est en présentation pour un projet Road Place Bells. Ça c'est pour un chemin pour ces femmes là accès famille. Et puis chemin ça il tapé en plus coup les Erika passé. Et puis actuellement nous bas Village Council Road Saint Joe au check code $253,799.25 pour contracteur là faire travail hod chimé ça là. Et puis contracteur là, monsieur Conley Durant, c'est un homme hot bells. Et puis moi dis bien merci pour Premier ministre Skerrit. Puis c'est Premier ministre Skerrit qui fait fonds là available pour commencer projet ça là.
Honorable Darrow mentionné qualité travail là.
Ça qu'a fait c'est ça nous qui est surface dressing hot concrete et puis drains pour glow la flow et puis nous qu'a dit c'est farmers hot bells nous te fait un promise et puis actuellement nous qu'a maintain promise ça là. Moi le dis tous les monde qui ni pour travailler hot project ça là hot bells pour yo mener un bon effort pour project ça là. Puis project ça là c'est project pour zo. C'est zo qui a servi chimé ça là, c'est zo qui ni pour mener toute force zo hot project ça là. Moi le dis merci pour also ministère Public Works, ministère Blanchard. Puis il était fait un travail hot ministry pour faire ça en réalité. Je le dis merci encore. So actuellement, nous expectons projet ça là, qui commence semaine qui va venir. Et puis projet ça là, c'est pour 8 weeks. Et nous expectons elle est fini. C'est un bel chimère pour ces femmes là accès famille.
Et puis finalement, dernier en série consultation MSME, ça c'est fait petite entreprise, sans prendre place en Dominique McPherson. Selon le ministère entreprise, Honorable Roslyn Paul, ces consultations ça la chaîne pour formuler une policy nationale pour entreprise en Dominique.
Nous consultation, nous discussion avec stakeholders, c'est 5e. Nous déjà ni 4, aujourd'hui fait 5 consultation nous et l'idée là c'est pour nous avancer business en Dominique pour faire c'était nous garder tout problème qui a affecté business en Dominique et pour nous mettre bagaille en place pour avancer business là. So, nous tout le monde qui peut affecter mon business, mon service, mon gouvernement, mon private sector qui a parlé pour nous signer un document qui a résulté en business qui est plus meilleur Dominique en futur.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
Studies show that a cool room helps you fall asleep faster. Years of scientific research have found that your body temperature is key when trying to get to sleep, as your body temperature naturally drops when you begin to nod off. Therefore, maintaining a cool but not cold temperature in your room is essential. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. Live streaming is also available on our YouTube channel 24 hours a day. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thank you for watching and join us again next time on National Focus.